got, you know, but there's two of them got paid for two guns. He used to have to go down there, and I've never yet seen one of them drinking a can of beer or had a bottle of whiskey. You know, they usually have whiskey sitting there and you can see it, and I've never seen them. And they're all young men, clean, cut, nice fellas, and all they interested in is horns. They left to hunt that old rough country, and I said, well, you all got the ideal place. They said, y'all, we love it.
Well, that's good. He has somebody that takes care of his place.
Yeah.
It's going. Oh, wait, get behind it. Sam, before it gets here and it gets noisy, can we film a little bit?
Sure, what do you want?
I want I want your life story and
My life story.
start with like here are your grandparents and here are your parents and just the facts, and then your catfish stories and ranching stories and these stories.
I don't know which one to put first. But
Did you know your grandparents?
sure.
And were they the first ones to come to this country, or was it your parents?
My grandparents came here.
What were their names?
Well, their name was McBee, and her name was Jeffers. Her maiden name was Jeffers. And I don't know where they married, but they moved from, I guess from Arkansas, and moved to Texas, and they settled in Austin, Texas. And I don't know how many of the children were born there in Berry County, but my daddy was born in Berry County, I know that. And after they lived there a while, they moved to Pearsall. And I guess some of the kids were probably born in Pearsall, I don't know.
Were they ranchers?
Well, they were stockmen, they had cattle. And then they moved from Pearsall, they moved out to Juneau, that's up here on Baker's Crossing, you know where Juneau is. And they acquired some land up there. I don't know, had a good ranch up there, but well, the one that old Jake Mayfield got up there. And it was, I guess, must be 25, 30 sections in it. Good piece of land. And it was,
That's pretty country out there.
was my grandfather, and he was, all the boys were in partners with him. It was F.M. McBee and Son. And they decided that they needed more land, so they traded that ranch up there at Juneau for about 70 sections down here to join Mr. Fawcett here on the south side here. You know, that old Dry Devil River country. It joined up with Bob Myers on the east, and then on the south side it joined the Myers brothers down there. That was a big spread, and went all the way to the Devil River and joined the old man Patton down on the river there. And then they came back up the river and joined Mr. Fawcett again up there, and then come straight back east. There's about 70 sections there. They tried to run cattle. Of course, they had about 2 or 3 hard winters, and that put them out of the cow business. So then they went into the sheep business, and in the meantime, while they all went broke.
Well, was this country, I mean, like, what year did they come out to Juneau?
They came out there, I guess, about 1900, somewhere back in there.
So the country was already pretty well settled and fenced off, or did they have to do a lot of fencing?
Well, I think that country up there around Juneau had a fence around it. I don't know how many petition fences it had in it, because this old country down here didn't have any petition fences. When Papa took it over, he redid all the fences there.
What about their waterings?
Well, the only waterings they had a well there at headquarters, and they finally drilled another well down the draw, down where George Thomas's place is. That old Papa had that old well drilled there. And they had the spring over on where I finally settled, it was in the spring. And they had gravel water hole. And gravel water hole is an old landmark. There's been more fights and fusses and wars over gravel water hole than, you know, they used to fight over these permanent waters. It was precious stuff. They finally began to, well, my daddy lost all that out there before he had a chance to improve a whole lot of it. He put some petition fences in there. And I don't know, somewhere in the deal, it was a mortgage to a bunch of Jews in Chicago, Chicago Cattle Loan Company. I don't know how, you know how Jews are, they get in on everything. It was a piece of land where we finally settled, where Mother and my daddy finally went over there, where there was, it wasn't mixed up with the Chicago Cattle Loan Company, it was mixed up, I don't know, with Otto Stolly, I believe his name was, in San Antonio, I don't know, against it, and Mr. Emory Davis had a note against it over there. Mama told those Jews, said, you're not gonna run me off here, said, I'm gonna take up a homestead. And she did homestead 640 acres on it, and they couldn't take it away from her. There's no way. Now, I don't know how the law was, but that's the way it was.
But this was after your daddy died?
Huh?
Was this after your daddy died?
No, the problem was still alive. Well, he was bankrupt. He couldn't do nothing. But she took the bull with the horn, and she was a fighter. He was one of these kind of guys that you hit him a few licks and he'd give up. You know, he just, well, there's no use in this and that, and Mom was always, she's one of these kind of idiots. She put her foot forward, and when she did, things started moving. And they told her, said, Ms. McBee said, you couldn't homestead 640 acres, said you couldn't run it. She said, well, I got a bunch of old big boys that could run it and take care of it. And said they can go out and get a job and work, and said they'll always have a home to come back to. Of course, that was my three brothers older than I, Griff and Clarence and Marion. And myself and my youngest sister, we were just little kid. I guess when we moved over there, I was about 12, 13 years old, and she was about 6 or 7. So we settled on that place over and got about 4,000 acres, you know, all of it together. And she talked to Mr. Stolly and talked to Mr. Davis, and they made a deal, and we started ranching that country over there. That was back about 1921, 22, somewhere back there.
When were you born?
I was born in 1912.
And you went to school in Del Rio?
Went to school in Del Rio. And my sister, just older than I, and myself were the only ones in the whole family that graduated from high school. All the rest of them had to quit. You know, they got smart and didn't need an education. They decided they would get a job and go to work.
Well, you said your daddy was a good storyteller?
Oh, Papa could tell a yarn and never, he wouldn't leave out not even the period of the sentence on it. He beat anything I ever heard of telling these stories. You know, all those stories about what happened around Del Rio, they were killing there once in a while, or somebody to steal a bunch of stock, or he'd tell you the story about every bit of it.
Do you remember any of them that were your favorites you liked to hear? Or?
Well, I could just parts of them that I can remember. Old man, he used to tell a story about there was an old man named Cawthorn. He was a sheep runner. Or I mean, no, he wasn't. He was a ranchman, and they ranched out there where Billy Lewis, you know, Billy Lewis, that's the ranch country out there east of Del Rio, on that Hamilton Lane out there.
Oh, okay.
Billy Lewis and Mickey Thurman. Their mothers were, let's see, their mothers were Cawthorn. But anyhow, Bill Lewis's mother was Cawthorn. That's where they got that ranch out there. Belonged to her. But anyhow, Papa telling about old man Cawthorn. was gonna buy some sheep for somebody. He had a big wad of money on him, and he went off out there to sell these sheep, to go buy these sheep for somebody, and it was an old man, you know, I can't recall what his name was. But he went out there and killed old man Cawthorn, and got that money. And then they,
Catch him?
yeah, they finally caught up with the guy. I believe his name was Blakely. I don't remember, but anyhow, that's,
So it's nice when you can start
Papa
using
could tell that
checks.
yarn, and never, he starts from the first and tell you everything. Of course, he knew old man Cawthorn, he knew all the subjects in the story.
But did your daddy like to fish like you do?
No, Papa never did anything about fishing or hunting.
Where'd you get that?
You don't know.
You just had access to the river and took off?
Yeah, they took it on the fish. I had a brother older than I, and he was the craziest fellow about fishing and hunting as ever was. Until the day that he died, boy, he had a stroke, and he'd come out there to the ranch and hunt with me, and he'd still shoot a gun, and when he shot, if something fell, it was like he was a crack shot.
Are the deer around here bigger or smaller than they used to be, do you think? Is there more of them or less of them? Or?
Well, back in the days when I was growing up, all the deer you found were just in certain locations. They
Where
weren't
the
scattered
water-
all over the country like they are now. You know, they're everywhere now. But there were places on this ranch of Mr. Fawcett's that you could go find a deer, and there was places on that old place my daddy had, you could go find a deer. And usually when you found them, you found, I don't remember or don't recall of any of the small bucks. Everything you found was a great big, pretty good sized buck, great big deer. But there wasn't many of them. I guess we're calling it kind of eagles and bobcats and everything. And of course, one of the biggest drawbacks we had to the deer population was the screw worm. That's what killed more of them than anything. There's a place over here called Jane Holler. There was always a bunch of deer around Jane Holler. There was always a bunch of deer around Horseshoe Bend, and that's the whole country Horace Fawcett had down there. And there were different places on this Fawcett Ranch here where there was deer, but you couldn't find one anywhere else but there. And when you went to hunt, you went to that location and you started to hunt. I can remember years ago, there was two guys used to come in at the ranch, they hunted afoot. They didn't drive a vehicle or anything, but they camped down there at the ranch, and I don't think they paid anything. I think Papa just gave them permission to hunt. And they walked every morning, they'd go to Horseshoe Bend. And they'd usually kill their limit and get in their full vehicle and take off.
Were there any?
And the deer were bigger. I think the deer were bigger then than they are now.
Well, in ranching, the predator problem changed a lot?
Huh?
The predator problem in ranching, were there ever any wolves around
Oh,
here?
yeah. I get, about the time my daddy got this property down here, they caught the last low bull wolf. You know, low bulls, they're great big bulls. I don't know what the proper name for them. You know, Monty?
Yeah, well, that's all I've ever heard them called.
Low bull wolves,
Yes.
is what I've heard them called. And they had an old trapper in here. His name was Lewis Martin, and that's all Lewis ever did was trap. And he caught that wolf. Now, I don't know how many different people he trapped. I mean, he was the hero of the country when he caught that little wolf.
I bet he was.
Of course, there never was as many coyotes in this country as there is down below us here in that flat country. They don't like this country as good as they do. But there were a few in here, and there were lots of bobcats. And them bobcats, they kill grown sheep or grown goat.
Well, when we first moved here, you know, we never heard about a mountain lion around here. Just very, very seldom did we hear anything about a mountain lion. And now we're hearing about them all the time, not just on this place we've got leased, but up and down the river both directions.
Well, back in those days, it was very rare to ever get a panther. And I guess maybe for 25 years, I never heard of a panther in any part of this country here. So back about oh, I guess maybe 15 or 20 years ago, they started coming back in here from somewhere, I don't know. It seemed like they locate in the same place and travel the same route all the time.
Yes, sir.
And there was one that was coming in faucets, forest faucets over here, that old pastor made a round way off down close to Del Rio down in through there. Come through there and then back up through here because it was the same one. They said it was the same one, and I guess it was.
Well, you know, when you were growing up, the fur market, that was a big source of, or a big part of your income, wasn't it? Every winter, I mean, y'all hunted a lot more than people hunt nowadays. Everybody had a dog or they had a spotlight and those ringtails and coons.
Well, when I was just a kid down there on that old ranch, when I wasn't more 9 or 10 or 12 years old, my older sister and I, we bought us some traps and we started trapping. And we made pretty good money. Buy us a pair of boots or some clothes or what have you with that trapping money. And it was mostly ringtails, real sweet. And I can remember the first traps we set down there, we set right across the canyon there from the house, and went over and set those traps, and just about dark, we caught, I don't know, 2 or 3 ringtails over there. It wasn't good dark yet, you know, traps. And it was a zillion of them. I never saw as many things in this as there was ringtails in this country back in, oh, I'd say back in 20s and 30s, back through there.
How much did you get for a ringtail hide?
Oh, you get about $1.50, $1.06 bits, but my goodness,
That'd go a long way.
$1.06 bits bought a lot of stuff.
Did you ever catch any bobcats?
Once in a while, you'd catch a bobcat. I don't know why we didn't catch them. There were a lot of them in here, but they used to have these trappers that come in here, and they, you know, professional trappers, they catch them. And another thing that bothered us a lot was eagles, old golden eagles. There were lots of them. And then, back in those days, they nested in this country, nested in those big cliffs on the river, and wherever there was a big bluff, they raised a bunch of little ones. They say they go north, well that's a bunch of baloney. They may go north now, but they used to, they stay right here and raise the young.
What'd you use for trap bait mostly? What'd y'all use for trap bait?
Well, the first trap bait we used turpentine and tallow. You know, just a little goat tallow.
Turpentine?
Put turpentine with it, and you catch every goat there is in the county.
That's what we're doing wrong.
Huh?
Okay, oh, the goats. You catch the
Yeah,
goats.
you catch the goats. They couldn't pass up that turpentine tallow. We used to catch goats, and we'd catch these little cardinals, little red birds. They were bad after that tallow. And of course, if we caught one of them, if his leg wasn't broke, we'd try to turn him loose, and he talked about something that could bite you. The red bird, just like a parrot, he'd take a chunk out of you. We had 2 old donkeys, that's what we trapped off of, little gentle donkeys. We'd saddle them up. Time didn't mean anything then. You didn't have to go here and go yonder, go this. You just got up your donkeys and went to see about your trap.
That sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, it was.
Your mother sounds like a character. Where was it? Your mother that you brought home some coons and they got a hold of her false teeth?
Who's Mama?
Yeah, was that
Oh, we had a pet. You talking about the coon getting it?
pet coon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had an old pet coon. I went off over there one day and caught 3 little old coons, and they just barely had their eyes open, brought them into the house. And that's the biggest mistake I ever made. I ain't nothing in the world worse than a pet coon. Because they end up everything, and the bigger they get, the more destructive they are. So we finally gave 2 of them away. We kept one old coon, we called him Amos. And that old coon, he was in, you know, he could just come to the door and just get a hold of his hand, open that screen door and come right on in. He'll do whatever he wanted to. And if she left a pot of beans on the stove, that's the first thing, as soon as that stove cooled off, an old wood stove, you know, well, he'd jump up on that stove and take the lid off those beans and get after them, just dip them with his hand. But anyhow, one night, Mama used to, when she'd go to bed for teeth bothered her, well, she'd just pull her false teeth out and stick them in her pillow slip. One night that old coon come in and he'd go to Mama first because he loved her. She never did do anything to him. He didn't like me, I'd beat the way out of him. So he got in bed with Mama. Directly she was up fussing at that coon, and my daddy was over in another bed. He said, "Sally, what's the matter?" And she said, "That blasted coon's got my teeth." And he was just growling, and he really wanted those teeth. He wanted to fight over them.
That'd be hard to take it away, I guess, once you decided.
Yeah, before we gave them away, used to, all we had for cool water was, hang something up and put a bunch of wet toe sack around it and let the wind blow on it, and that was an evaporated cooler that cooled our water that way. We bought an old crock, I think it's about 7 or 8, 10 gallon old stone crock. We put a sack around that thing, fixed the wire around top of it where we could hang it up, and we took it and hung it up in the mulberry tree in the front yard. And put a thin cover over the top of it, so leaves and stuff couldn't fall in it. One day we were washing around there by the wash house and decided we wanted to go get us a cool drink of water going around, and all 3 of those coons was in that
They were
in
swimming?
that water jug, yeah. Just taking a bath in we had a peach tree right out the side door. It had a little old batty chicken there. A little batty hen. And she was just as gentle as she could be. When I was fooling around out in the pasture one day and I found a nest full of quail eggs. So I brought them in there and we put them on, set them on that little hen. She hatched those quail out. I don't know, about 15 of them, hatched every one of them. And she thought they were the grandest things in the world. And she'd come every night and come to that door, and Mom would open the door and let her and those quail in, and she roosted in the box out in the breezeway. After those quail got up big, well, she roosted in that peach tree right out the door there. And I never saw a quail get up and roost on a limb in my life. They always roost on the ground, But she took them quail up in that tree there. And that old coon, when he'd go out that door, he'd go out that door and get up that tree, and he'd throw every one of them quail out of that tree.
He didn't hurt them?
No, it didn't bother them. They'd fly back up there with that old
For quail tossing.
he just pushed every one of them out. No, he never did bother the chickens, never did bother any of the food, or if there's any food around.
I guess he's full of beans.
I guess. Well, he was the biggest old fattest thing when he just disappeared one night and never did come back anymore. I used to go off headlighting, and when I'd come in, that old coon would be sitting right on top of the house, right up there with the chimney.
Where it's warm.
Yeah.
And you spent a lot of time fishing on the river just all your life? Because you pretty well grew up here on the Devil's River then, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, one was about 5 miles from the river. Any time when we ranched over there, and I had an uncle and an aunt, 3 cousins that lived on the river. 2 boys were about my age. They lived on the river, and every time I get a chance, well, I was over there with them fishing. I just loved to go and stay with them and fish. And we caught lots of fish and some big old fish.
What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Oh, I guess we're about between 50 and 60 pounds.
Are they good eating that big?
Yeah, the part of them that's not too good is on their side. The belly part of them. I always call it the catfish flanks. That's always good. There's no red meat in it. But the part of it on their side that way, there's a bunch of red meat in it, and you have to cut that out. If you don't, it's strong. The bigger the fish, well, the more red meat the hell on. Kind of like these scrappers. We used to have some fish fry. And in those days, we didn't know anything about cholesterol or anything else. We just fried them, and oh Lord, that was the best.
It was good.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, who was it that burned the
Cane.
the cane around you and Dr. Graham?
Who was it that did that?
Yeah, was it Taylor?
No, Taylor did that.
When was this? What happened
Oh,
then?
I was back in the 1940s sometime. We were down there fishing. We were fishing at Dolan Falls in the winter time, and there was a lot of old dry cane around there. And the wind was kind of whipping out of the north a little bit, and we got down behind a big old ledge there, and there was an open place between this little cane and the river. We were down there sitting in the sunshine, out of that wind, just having a good time talking. And old Taylor, he come along, saw us in there, and he just whipped out a match and lit that bunch of cane. And there wasn't anything, we couldn't get up that ledge, up that rock, and we couldn't go through that cane, so we just jumped in the river. And the water was about up to our waist.
When you looked up, was he standing up there laughing?
Oh, sure. He died of that.
Y'all didn't get him and throw him in?
No, we didn't bother him. We talked to him pretty nasty though.
I bet you did.
Yeah. One night me and Taylor and Doc Graham, and I think Horace Foster was fishing up above the way. Doc, he had him a bottle, he kind of like that bottle, and he was kind of tapping his jug every now and then. Finally, he caught a big old fish, and weighed about 30 pounds, and he hooked that fish, caught him on a rod and reel, and hooked him somewhere down there, and all of his entrails were coming out up through his mouth.
Yes.
We got him out on the bank, I held that old fish up, and he took a stick, stuffed that bag down there, and we just yak, 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 and old Taylor was laying there asleep. He said, well, he said, I wish y'all would shut up or move. Said, I'm trying to sleep here. Instead, all y'all are doing is yak, 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 yak.
Who
No,
cut
it
the
was a
line
lot of
that
fun.
time? Who put the fish back in the river that time? Somebody caught a big fish and
Oh, Sam took the
That was me,
line.
old Dr. Graham caught the fish. That's one time when they had a flood in Devil River, and I don't know what caused it, but it never has happened again. I never heard of it. If those fish come up the river and try to come up the falls, and they just collect there. Some of the fish could get up there, but them catfish, the big old catfish, couldn't get up there. The river run down back to normal, and they couldn't make it. But there for, I guess, 2 or 3 months, we go down there and just catch catfish all we want, right off the fall there. Pretty good sized catfish. Anywhere from 10 pounds up to 30 pounds. So we had a fishing party over one time. Horace, he invited Roger Thurman, he was the district judge here then. Taylor and myself and Horace, Doc Graham, and I don't know who else was, we was already over there. But Horace, he elected me to go get Roger. Roger could make it to the top of the hill out there, but he couldn't come down through his old car, wouldn't make it. So I got an old puddle jumper we had then, went up there and got Roger. Brought him down there, and about the time we got there, well, Dr. Graham caught a catfish. I imagine weighed 25 pounds. And he wanted me to help him land him, so I just got a hold of the fish and got my hand in his mouth and pulled him out. So when the fish ran, I took the hook out of his mouth. And Taylor, he was on the other side of the falls over there, and he said, done this way, put him down, put him back, push him back. So I just throw fish back in the creek. And Furman, you ought to see the look on his face. He said, if I catch a fish around here, says, I'm going up the hill with him. Said, nobody's going to throw my fish back. And of course, old Dr. Graham told me that. Said, Mike B, that kind of hurt me. He threw that fish back like that. But said, the look on Sermon's face said it was worth it.
How deep is it around the falls? Or does it fill in and out
Yeah.
as it floats?
Down on the west side there where that water kind of runs back under that bank there, I imagine it's bound to be 12, 13 feet there. Where the water pours off the falls is a kind of a rock ledge or just a big old rock laying in, because that water not but about up to your waist there when you or right off the falls there. But when you get on down the falls on the west side there where that water swirls in on that bank, that's pretty deep.
That's a beautiful place. That's a beautiful place.
It actually is.
Love it.
Everybody that comes along, that's where the first thing I want to go to is to the falls,
What's another thing? I have other questions on this. What y'all eat when y'all camped up and down? Did y'all take sandwich stuff back then, or?
No, we take a loaf of light bread, and bacon, and some eggs, and cheese. Maybe bring some beans along. Sometimes we'd take some steaks with us and cook those steaks down there. We always had something good to eat.
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes we'd cook a big pot of beans, have beans to eat, and then of course we ate fish.
Where was it that the cereal?
Oh, yeah.
Where was it that the mouse crawled out of the cereal box? And
Another red glove.
Louis Jacobs now, these two people here, Mr. and Mrs. Foster, they almost raised Louis. They thought of Louis just like it was, thought of him just like he was their son. Of course, after Mr. Fawcett passed away, and Mrs. Fawcett was always left on the ranch there. I don't know, somehow or other, he just took a notion that was going to come over and stay with Horace. Of course, he bought that ranch down there where George Thomas lived. Horace was closer to it, so he just come over and would stay with Horace. And of course, he helped Horace's wife cook, clean house, or whatever. Louis was a wonderful housekeeper to cook. Then he had some sheep on that place down there. And of course, in the spring of the year, well, I'd go help him mark his lambs. He and I guess Horace's two men, we went off down there, mark lambs. Well, we thought we'd be back home by noon, but we had more lambs than we thought we had. So it was about 2 o'clock before we got through there. And up there where we were marking those lambs, there wasn't a drop of water. We didn't take any water with us, and I was starving to death for a drink. And about 2 miles this side there, when we come down off that divide up there and down the draw, there was a pipeline, there was a windmill down there, and as soon as we got to that trough, well, I wanted to get me a drink of water. Well, the first thing that got in the trough were 2 dogs. But I didn't mind the dogs, I just went on and got me a drink of water. But Louis and them Mexicans, they wouldn't drink that water. I drank me a good drink of water. Of course, there's another about a mile along the windmill. We went on home. Ate our dinner, and that night we were going to eat supper. Well, Louis said, "You know, I'm not very hungry." And I said, "No, I'm not very hungry. Let's just eat some cereal," he said. So we got down a box of cereal. I don't know what it was, or post toasted, or cereal. Set it on the table. Well, we filled our bowls up with it first. And he set it down on the table. And we started eating. And about the second bite, was his mouse run up out of that box. Stuck his head out through that hole, wiggled his whiskers, old Louis, oh my! Oh, scrape that cereal out in the sink, or I just went on and ate mine. I didn't see any rat pills in it, so I was throwing it out.
Here's the glasses.
Okay, let's take a break on this.
Ghost trap.
Yeah, Earl used to work in that ASC office. Now she was right, but she always kept me posted on.
Yeah,
what's going on.
that's what she used to do.
Yeah, she's a sweet old gal.
Well, I guess that wind's gonna blow all day today, like it did
It
yesterday.
started here yesterday.
Yeah.
He watered now on Commissioner's Court together.
Oh, really?
For
Well, that,
a long time.
yes,
Of course, I knew water when he was
the little fella
a
too.
kid was Rogers, his wife lived about 3 houses down the street from
Yes, sir.
where I live.
They're on Garfield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lived in one of the apartments that belonged to old lady Barton there when I was a kid going to school.
You got that
Video set, they'll get some.
Here's some stories from Sam.
Oh, boy. Well, that's,
Sam,
tell you what, that's a good
he brought some
idea.
catfish. Brought some catfish for dinner.
Oh, that sounds good. I went down the river fishing on Mother and Daddy's out here at Comstock, down on the California ranch, they called it the other day, and I caught all I caught was a smallmouth bass. He weighs about 4 pounds.
Well, that's a good catch. You had to
Yeah.
fight him.
Yeah, well, I caught him on a crow line. I was scared fishing, and I caught him on a crow line.
Like old Dean Catlin, you know old Dean Catlin?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The old Dean Catlin had a trot line down there in front of my house and paid him with goldfish.
Thank you.
He never did catch a catfish, but he went down there one day and had an 11.5 pound bass.
Golly.
And you know, he had that bass mounted. I don't know whether I'd have a bass mounted caught on a trot line or not.
Well, I love it. I love to fish on the river. I guess.
Yeah.
That's lots of fun.
That lake fishing down there, it's all different.
Yes, sir. Well, I don't know anything about fishing on that lake. I've been out and tried to fish on it, but I just don't know anything about it.
I was born and raised
Oh,
on
good.
that. That's where I did all my fishing.
Where did they come out the other day?
Last year.
Yes,
Did
sir.
they come?
No, it never river. That's got to be the best little river in the world. I love it. I mean, that's where I grew up out here on what we call the California
Yeah.
ranch.
Now, who came, did, Becky come?
Spent a lot of time on the river and
Well, how are they
up
doing?
and down those
Really?
canyons, and fishing and trapping and playing.
Bethany, Amy, Marsha, Martha.
How much river front is on California there?
There's about 4 or 5 miles, I guess, 5 or 6 miles.
Well, you're right across the Patrick Crossing.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Right
And
across.
down above it, it's called Rub
Rub border crossing, yes, sir.
I've got those.
They've got a
I'll tell you
cable
what.
there,
I
you know, the international body of water down there, and that's, well, since that
It's going through, and
water
I
dark,
know
you
that
know,
I
we
can
cut
find
that
all
range
the
in
right
half
at
too,
the
and
moment.
that's on the
It's
south
right
end,
now.
that's
But
across the
someday I'll
top
do
down
it.
there.
I'll be a
We have the
railroad.
north end, they're, well, across from that, well, join that old Lucius Highland country right there on the
Oh,
west
right,
side
right
of the
through
river.
here.
And,
Well, seemed to me like it used to be a section of land back, gutted in there to the river above somebody, I don't.
well, there, you know, there's a bunch of cabins on, right above, right on the fence line, or Willie Myers owns
Yeah.
a fishing cabin, but there's lots of little cabins.
that's on that
little
old
plots of
Lucius
land.
Highland.
Yeah, it's on Lucius Highland country. But that's where, there's a little old bluff there, and of course the fence comes down
Oh,
to it,
okay, well,
that's
next time
the
I'll bring
boundary
it.
line right there.
I think I know where that one
Of
is.
course, above us, like I said, that country, I guess, a little plots of land, they sell out there.
Old Clifton Larry and I were down there when Dan
Since he's had this
moved
thing,
over
that
there,
we've got a bunch
you know, when
going
I
up
went
for
fishing
our.
one evening,
Well, have I told you that he had?
and there was a jillion Barbados sheep up on the bluff right now.
There is a
That's
lot of
yours?
barbecue. Well, yeah, I guess, sir. I don't know where they come from, unless they come from old Finnegan's up way up here, you know, and got across the river, because they used to not be any.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they started showing up, and boy, there's a bunch of them there now.
Monty's gonna have to go in here for
And it's helped, it's
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
quite a
where you
bit.
wanna sit down, Sam?
But anyway, he feels that,
We've got some more barbecue.
Well, I tell you, Monty's got some famous boots. They were in the shop right on the shelf next to his.
And that's about as close to fame and fortune as I guess I wanna get, but I guess better than nothing. I'd forgotten about that. When was it?
I took him in there Monday. When I gave them to him, he said, "Boy, these gonna be famous boots. They're sitting right next to James Arnett's." This old guy's character, I've got to know him pretty good.
Where's your shop?
It's right there behind Northside Auto on 17th Street, you know where that Jerry Parker's U-Oiler
Oh, yeah.
is. Up there, he's got a trailer house back there. He's a really nice guy. Sam does good work.
You know, you took me by that one time. Is it behind that parts house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's the parts house, then there's a warehouse with no sign on it, a metal building, and then he's right next door to that in a trailer. If you just stay on 17th Street like you're going over to Dale, you'll see him there on the right. Says, will it instant soles and heels?
I got another pair I'm gonna send to him.
No, throw them in the car and I'll take them to her. I'm gonna start charging him commission. He just grins every time he sees me. He said, these are not all your shoes, are the boots and all. Dale's taking all his stuff. I picked up several pairs for Dale there.
Telling you got too many friends live outside of town, can't get to
Yeah,
town.
he's just fascinated with the way that people live up here. You know, drive into church. He's especially talked about people driving into church from so far off.
How long's he lived here?
Apparently quite a while, Mo. He's up north somewhere. He said he has never lived in a place he likes as much as Delray. He loves the people here. And he says everybody's so negative about how to make a living here. He said, I think things are just getting good.
What if it's down, it's on.
I guess the worst time he gets, more shoe repair he gets.
You might have thought about that. Yeah, instead of going out and buying a new pair, you sure.
Now look at these 405ers.
I'm gonna tell you, no, Walmart specials hold up pretty good.
Those look like good walking shoes.
Yeah, they're kind of thin for rocks and
Yeah.
thorns, but they feel good.
I got tickled. We had a woman come to my office Monday. Her name was Kathy Lutz. I'm not kidding. She's a landscape architect. She don't contract with other departments. She was asking what kind of plants grow good in this area that you want to put in a landscape department. City one.
Tell her, Berkshire Bear.
I was naming off everything. I said dog pear grows good. She wrote that down. She was gonna plant some.
Oh my goodness, Robert.
I told her, hey, whoa,
Tablet Hill, Freehold Hill,
all that
I
stuff.
want Hill.
I tell you, sometimes
Warriors
it's
Teal.
pretty
Yeah.
good if you get it lined up right.
She said, well, what is dog pear? I reached down and got that when I got on top of the bookcase. So,
I tell you, a bunch of that stuff over there at the Hayes right now, it's got big old yellow blooms on it.
had a little moisture on it.
Uh-huh. Oh, that stuff's bad.
You're riding about a half out by the horn. You get your riding from
You don't have to even have.
Look, there's a
Who
camera
was
set
the-
like we had for your
who was
birthday on the
Jim?
tripod that's watching.
Rio
over
got
the
something
legs,
put out
okay?
there at Dale's. I said, Jim, get you a stick, knock it off. I right, go ahead and reach down and pull it off.
He did?
Yeah, he liked to cut his
I
face.
mean, he
stick
grabbed
in.
one thorn pole, or he just tried to grab the whole
Well, he
lot?
tried to grab one thorn, but old Rio wasn't standing for it too good.
I was telling Charlene that,
Maura.
Dorothy,
Jim was his?
Raymond
Oh.
Dorothy.
And you start getting dog food out here,
She
you gotta use
gets
something.
bananas, yeah.
Now that's old Sleepy, that old big heavy-set bay mare, you can just
I saw it.
rake them out her. She don't have any feed, either.
There's no Indian on that.
That little
Yeah.
thin skinny gray mare, it hurts her.
Yeah, Morris started kicking sideways and every which way.
You know, there's not much dog pear on this side of the river, is there? This side of the Devil's
I
River.
don't remember ever seeing any. Could be some out here, but I don't remember.
The only place I know where there's some over here, and it's over at Carter Valley on Dr. Harding's place. He has some
If you
dog
would
pear
have
over
the other,
there.
but I've got someone else reading
And,
the other one. That's why I asked you, it
oh,
doesn't
about-
make any
I guess
difference
it's
to
about-
me.
Well, you know where his house is there? Where Dr. Harding lives, Thomas Harding?
Yep.
Alright, it's on the east side of the highway.
But then I got
There's
to think
dog-
later,
dog
later on,
catchers
I thought,
over
well,
there.
you know, she had this all marked up, and there I went and got her new one.
Well, we don't have any here. There's not any on that Russell Ranch.
But I have.
Now, Randall Disler said they had a little bit on them over there, on that Disler place.
Comstock, over at Comstock.
Y'all got her and y'all down there?
No,
She's reading it.
Well, that's good.
Tuffy, he had some on him, he transplanted, and right off, would go through him going from
Homespun
Where the
school,
mother
one
and
of
daddy
them,
are.
one of the boys books.
Daddy told that Mexican Tuffy to go burn it and dig it up, you know, because it spread all over, and they brought it from over there beside Butch, you know, across the railroad back in there. And they had a little old patch of it, and they went and dug it up, you know. Boy, it's
Missy has lots of stuff.
thinking of mine down on the river.
Yeah.
Farm Jack?
Yeah. He's got it.
They came through here, what?
He's
about
got
2
lots of
years
thorns
ago,
down
this
there.
weekend?
They bad.
Wayne and
And all sticky too.
Mm-hmm.
Several varieties.
Well, Dale's got quite a bit of thorny stuff too.
I hadn't seen her, do you?
Marley brought out a video that
Well, I knew
DJ takes
that
called
there's
Best
a
at Home
last time
Video.
I saw her,
Oh, I
I didn't
saw
have a chance to
That
visit, it was
is
on
a
Saturday
scream.
occasion.
That's about the guy hitting the golf ball,
Do you
Mhm.
know
and the
them? They
penguins
have
chasing the
some-
light.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I
See
saw
the hat flop at one guy's head onto the guy
You
behind
could
him?
do that 100 times. and never happen.
Million times.
Yeah, I
You
saw
see
that
that?
on TV, yeah, I saw that, that's pretty
We watched that last night. See how these two old boys are in a foot race, a relay race where you hand off the baton, and this one that's got the baton, this other guy runs up behind him to get you over how they're gonna pass off the baton. Anyway, the guy in the front, he's got a hat on his head, a little straw hat.
Like Bill Jeter wears all the time.
Got his bill hat. While they're running, that hat flips off of that old boy in the lead, turns over about once or twice
So
and hits
that's been a
directly
while.
on top of that other fellow's head.
Stays there.
And stays there, just like he'd socked it down on his ears. It's the funniest thing I ever seen. Couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah, that Japanese fellow with the golf ball was pathetic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we got a guy, his wife works for Departmental, that actually happened to him, it nearly killed him. Had to go to emergency surgery and remove one of them.
And get your attention.
Knocked him out.
Hopefully we'll be home one of these days.
What about the donkey biting that woman on the left cheek? You can just see those donkeys, he gets close to those ears, just keep going down and down and down. She's handing her grandkid over the fence, and about that time, ka-chonk. Boy, he takes a hunk out of her.
Sam, when you were down there behind Clifton, did y'all ride mules, or did you go afoot or what, or did you drive horses, or?
Hey, you had some horses over, you could knock them down. I never did get off lead a horse in my life. I rode him off wherever I come.
Yeah.
My papa would get down and he'd lead his horse, and I'd say, get out of the way, and they'd get off in there, I'd go. But I had some horses, what I mean, they were good rock horses.
Did y'all raise any horses, or did you buy most of
Yeah,
your own saddle?
regular horses.
We don't spend that much on the basic thing. We buy the basic.
Tell you what, a good rock horse is hard to find.
I had an old, big old gray mare, it was Robert
That's the main thing.
Myers.
Well, we keep adding to our library, and we buy a lot of stuff for ourselves too.
About half broken, I got it. Had a big old knot on her back about that big,
Well,
next to the
library,
right
that's
there.
why I haven't been in a while.
Right
so
up on it.
I've been
Back
reading
before the
stuff
saddle
I
was
already
hitting
have.
it. I took that
So
old
my
mare,
library rivals theirs.
chewed that up on her, and he
Well, do
gave
they
me
have
that
any
mare.
things at the library and homeschooling?
And
I know,
I believe
I
she
just-
was the best rock horse I ever rode in my life.
Not like just homeschooling, not.
What she was good, you know, work stock on, but what
When
she
I
was
went
really
in,
good for was
I bought,
ride head right. You can ride that old mare, I just took ready to shotgun up and bow till the ring tail, I don't have to move or nothing. Just maybe ride up there, reach down, pick the ring tail up, and skin her to ride along. And I could just stop anywhere and let the reins down on her, and she'd be right there when I got back. Sometimes I'd have to dig after the ring tail for 30 or 40 minutes. That old mare stay right
The
there.
lady had put all the numbers.
And I could take her down on the river, and that's what Georgia's got now. She can cross that river anywhere, and run them cruises, and old black,
MJ,
What do you
still
call
get
it?
MJ's over here,
and
you
that
know,
old
whatever.
mare, we'd work them
It's like,
cruises
you'll
over.
just have to look it all up.
And then she had a colt, and
They
he was
just
a
ask.
blue roan colt, and he was just like she was. You could ride him off of anything or up anything, and he never flipped.
Well, she bred to a horse that was out in this part of the country, or did y'all haul her off?
Not with our library, but it's possible.
Old man,
That's basically,
Bob Myers had a
I
horse,
was gonna
I
say
don't
like
know
the
where he
call
got, I think he got the horse
well,
from
they did
Bowman.
buy some, but they
Jack
could
Bowman.
go with the
Jack
regular.
just raised a good horse.
In Rock Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of his horses. Old Seth Young, there in Uvalde, talks about those Holman horses.
And he had a old, one of those old
Mine
studs,
was
I
probably
don't know,
so
that
I'm gonna
old
get in
mare.
trouble later. I don't want to come back and say, you really do not have this education.
Robert gave us several horses down
If
there.
they test your child,
Back in Florida, you know, they didn't, where they couldn't do anything with them, they bring them and give them to me.
Well, I don't know that they care with
I didn't
child's intelligence.
treat them like the Mexicans did, I treated them about halfway decent. I never had any trouble with them, long broke horses and those.
we have
And
a
they were,
video
I mean, they was
on
good.
his take on Barbara Walters.
Oh, yeah.
I think my best rock horses are mares. We've got a bunch of
Well,
saddle
the
horses.
best horses I ever rode were mares.
Yes, sir.
They could stand a third again as much
Remember, I don't have
work
to
as
be
a
in
horse.
They
Well, I've had this quite a while, but it wasn't marked, and so I just.
Before I came out here, I didn't always, I never rode a mare before I came out here, and
never watched her.
we just got more and more mares all along. And now I tell you what, if you go down there and you pick out 4 or 5 of your best rock horses we got out there, they'll be mares. Most of them are mares.
They're gonna be on some television show. Let me see.
Dale ever tell you about that cousin of Marcia's?
Watch
It must
for
be just about like
Foreign
Barry
for
Dodds.
Homeschoolers, a live national
Yeah.
home
Yeah.
education teleconference.
Anyway, they were
April
rounding up
8th,
this pasture.
9 at 7
The
p.m.
railroad goes through it, you know, huge flat, and it just goes zip right up on either side, and you got slapped up on top of where Martian was on one side, this other guy was on the other side, this canyon, I guess, is about a mile across. And Dale said he was just close enough to see this guy, he was in hot pursuit after something. He come off this thing down this slope, come off again, he got there, he was riding one of Dale's mules, he got down there where that mule knew there was a bluff. Well, the mule stopped and the guy didn't. The saddle, reins, and everything come off. And he said he wound up going off about a 10-foot bluff, and when he hit, he was still right there just like this, like he was still going. Still in the saddle. He said that mule just took off back up on top and was gone.
Yeah, I'm doing that way.
Western
The Morse believe that if it's true and of God, Sue Welch and Greg Harris, her prominent subjects in the letter, will prosper if libelous and of man they will fall. Moore suggests meeting with Sue and Greg.
And I
The
never
Moore
thought
Foundation
you
Board
would
has
throw me
studied the
off.
charges
You
and
might throw
prepared
this
a
after all,
response.
but you
You know
can't
what
fix
that's
like a
all
horse.
I have no idea either.
They must have some kind of falling out, cause there's been two,
Now, here a while back, I mean,
With that
like.
mule took down there and his Mexican truck riding down there. You
Greg
see him
Harris
walking
put
up
an
with his
apology
riding.
or something, said that's not what he
One day I
intended
told
or meant,
Lewis, I
or
said, Lewis, I traded this black horse on mine for that mule there.
he kind of,
Trade, he said.
he doesn't feel like it's really job
You
for
were
now,
home with me.
people just get,
Saturday morning.
they really
Pulled
weren't.
him outside and he decided to throw me off
Kind
in
of
the
hated to
field.
start with or something.
I
Oh,
whipped
kind
the
of
car out of
interpretation
it.
of burnout is maybe.
Then he,
Well, I saw that, I
what he
said,
do with
what
him
in the
actually,
world's
he
going
took
on?
a
I
loose
just,
on him.
Yes.
He raised him and he turned his rear into him, and when he did, he started kicking that way. Why, they had to turn the reins loose and
He
away
just
they
kind
go.
of surmised a bunch of stuff, there really wasn't much in there.
But he did me that way one time, I, of course, I let him go. Papa went to court for a mule while he got down there, and we took him back down to the barn, and tied a rope around his neck, and rope down through his bits, and
yes, they had a big,
piece of bedding
yeah, I
right through
should
his
have brought
bits.
that. They had a big write-up about it, and,
So he and I went
They're
down
gonna have
to
it
the
again
pasture
there
up there,
next
we got in there, and I got down to open the gate,
let's
put him
see.
into another place there, when I did, well, he
It
started
was
that.
really more
to me, I
organizational
just threw the
meeting, they
reins
said it
down,
was
I had
wonderful,
that rope,
that everyone,
I
you
just
know,
kinda
had
sat
such a good
down there,
time,
when he hit the end
and
of that rope, I
they
turned him head
decided-
over heels. Never jerked
the
loose
biggest
again.
controversy was
Never.
whether
You couldn't run him off.
Well, they're not done.
And
No,
you know,
they're
when
not
broke
done.
that mule, got him like I
have a
wanted.
voice for the
I was the only one that
homeschoolers
could ride him, but I could do anything in the world with that mule.
politically.
And you could ride him down the road and you'd beat
Be
him,
that
bang
way
and beat him, and
or
swear him,
not.
and rank.
And I think
But
a
You take
certain
after
section
something
was
like a
split
lamb
off.
or a kid
They
or a
didn't
goat,
want,
and he just fly. And he was good to rope on. He'd stay right follow him.
Well, he liked it.
Yeah, he liked it.
oh, yeah.
In fact, he'd try to get a hold of him.
I've ridden horses like that.
So when you get these kind of personalities together,
Oh, that old mule was
you're
lost.
gonna have this kind
Oh,
of.
right.
10
Well,
years.
and we're all, even if we have the same mind that we should be in all.
What was that story you was talking about?
We all have our
A
own
sheep or something that kept running off your
what
dad and
route
cut
should
his
be,
throat.
What we should do and what books.
That's what makes it so deep, that's why we're all individuals, you know?
We'd always had a
Diverse
bunch of pet
group,
goats
try to
around. My sister
Put that
had a
all
little pet nanny.
together, it would be hard.
She decided she did
But
turn
anyway,
around
it
and
turned
go
out,
with the
they said
goat,
it
so
should
she
be
put
a
a
real
bell
neat
on.
thing, and they're gonna plan to do it the
Well,
same
that
place in
old goat-
Missouri next year. Evidently, this man has
They
a
hear you
huge,
sense that you were in the pasture, of course, that old goat started running, them other goats heard that bell, and they knew there was something up, and away they go.
let's see what else.
We were around the pasture, me and I and my sister one day.
Well, I don't
take them
Coming in,
I'm doing this very sloppily,
Yes,
believe me,
well,
I'm not just
That's
jumping.
the only way. You can't, you can't.
I told you my first thing was with
I
Sharon.
don't know what her name was, but she called her name, where is
She
she?
was reading some of your books.
Yeah, well, I gave her to, and I said, don't. I told
Mama
her,
said, I got her head right here over the sand, and he said,
I said, because I know exactly how you think it's gonna be.
he rode that old goat,
I
got
mean
it,
it,
got her head
because
over the side, over the side. I don't know why he
There's a boy
didn't just
that
throw it away, and I was
supposedly
saying words about it, but he wanted her to know that he
I think he has a lot
I
more
got
problems, and everyone blamed it.
tried to understand it.
And that's the first
He
time.
won't do that
Oh, man,
anymore.
I kind of did the same thing, that's the first time I've ever heard of it.
Well, you know it too.
Well, yeah,
It's
that's
not like
true.
you can't.
Well, but
But
the fight was
he
on
has a
there.
lot of emotional
Gives a
problems.
dirt
Well, he hated the outlaw animal of any kind.
Oh, yeah, and he still does.
Sam, was that Horace Fawcett date the sheep pill, or was he the one that put that on that guy's mouth that
He's the one
day?
that put it on.
Somebody was talking about Horace the other day, and I was telling about that story, and I couldn't remember if he did it or he's the one that ate the pill.
What happened?
Anyway, so.
There was a whole bunch of
and I
them
knew
down there
she was
fishing on the
shepherd,
river
so I
one
said,
time.
I don't want to talk about it till you read it. Well, she
After
read it,
dinner,
she
we
read
was all
it,
full,
read it,
sleeping
She shared
drowsy.
with the hardest one
My
of the
cousin-
things I could tell it,
Older than I am.
and she looked at
Decided
me
he'd
before
take
I
a
she
little
said,
nap.
"Oh."
He talked there a while, finally just laid back, and I waited, he laying there.
How she started off, and I thought, well, she's gonna rip this up and end it in, she said, it's the most wonderful.
Oh, Horace, he just reached over that old dry
She
sheep
said,
peel.
she said, I can't believe
Laid it on the
I'm
Gordon's
so
lip and
narrow-minded.
blew it up, and somebody got hit right over the lip again.
She's in this book and talks about the
So when
narrow-minded
that
neighbor.
time the Gordon had his mouth open, he told that he grabbed it, he chewed on it. Horace, he said, he used a cuss word on him, he said, I know that.
Homespun schools, old homespun schools.
Sure it was.
And that's what Missy's reading right
Wasn't
now.
too safe down
And she
on the
said,
river.
No, there were people that came from far behind you.
well, that's what it was. She said, how wonderful.
That's Taylor did that to you and Dr. Graham, wasn't it?
And,
Yeah, he's gonna say-
Put y'all in the creek in November, December.
Her deepest part of heart.
I think long February.
But she said, I'll tell
Plenty
you what,
cold.
she said, there's gonna be
It was
people
a
that don't
sunshiny
understand
day and
Kathy.
we were,
She said, but I will back you up 100%.
northern
And
blowing.
if you
Well, like
like
today.
ever can get
Kinda
some
holding
materials
on
or
to
something
something,
for the
yeah.
school, she said, all you know, she said, all you have to do is call. And I said, well, okay. Well, that made me feel good. I wasn't her owner, and I thought, well, heck, I can right after her.
I tell you,
So
Roger's
Missy's
got some
reading
modern
it now.
kind of saddle
Did
horse
you get
though.
the teacher?
Yeah.
Darn helicopter.
Teaching? Yes,
You know, the first time I ever saw one of them things work, I couldn't believe what I saw.
They said they could make it where you could.
Around that country, usually mine, there was a bunch of alcohol and goats and about 140 head. He wanted to get them out.
I have another
We
school
decided
teacher
the thing to
and a
do was
principal in
me
Del
and
Rio
all the
told me if
Mexican
I needed
boys to go
anything, the
in
principal
there
said,
and
if you need
get the
anything,
little
I'll
bird.
get it for you.
he was in there in Del Rio a long
He
time.
said, all you have to do is
Like,
ask
he'll
for
stop
it.
He hunted it. Eagles, I think, or hunted coyotes or something, but anyhow, he's the one that got them all in
Everything's been pretty
trouble with
positive.
them.
You
What
out?
was I told the other day?
You out there.
Oh, Al Barnes.
Lakey,
I told my aunt,
Al Barnes.
I don't know what his name
chair.
is.
My aunt thought it was just.
I don't believe it, that was like,
That's not him.
Mothers don't have as much.
I don't remember what his name was. But anyhow, that old boy come out there
Oh,
with a
Roger.
chopper,
Mothers,
and he went down and
that's great.
round the
Mother's,
goats up,
mother
rolled
thinks it's
down.
wonderful. Roger's parents, I think,
What's the divide
I
all
think
that,
that this
off
is
the
gonna
hill,
go away.
brought him right off the hill, and
phase
the only
your
goat that I saw.
Oh, this is wonderful. And then she'll say, when we start school, and then I'll say, well, Earl, we're
He
not
crawled
doing
in that
it
thicket,
that way.
old
Oh,
goat.
well,
The
yeah.
rest of them come right on down there and come and went in that water lot.
I was gonna have
Of
to.
course, when they did, well, we just all surrounded them, took them around and put them in a big old plank, in a round pen, where they couldn't jump
I
out.
told him, I said, you know Jim Bob Hill, he's going to
And I couldn't believe my eyes. He just bought them goats, just straight off there. He said, you know, the way to herd them goats is, you gotta make them think they're getting away from the goat.
I bet that's right.
They already did get away from it.
I guess from Louisiana, a public school teacher from
Well,
Louisiana.
Roger has
and
me
he
spoiled.
says
That Carter
to her,
Valley country, oh, he can
because
do more than
everyone
3 or
does,
4
he gets
hours
to
than I
certain
can do in a
age,
week.
requires,
You know?
and we said, well, he's gonna homeschool.
Also,
He
you're about finding steers too out here.
Try to hide
said,
from it.
"Homeschooling it."
Sir?
I was thinking goats would try to hide from it.
Well, the Spanish goat will move, they're like cattle.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Really,
These
you
are
have
all
to hang
Spanish
on to
goats.
it.
they, if you let them go like they think they're getting away, they'll move. You know, they'll go and just stay away from them and just every now and then make a pass and just keep going. I worked them off the river. Daddy's over here on the river. Hell, I bet there was 300 or 400 Spanish goats that belonged to everybody. You know, there was a bunch of ours, and we
That's just
finally.
where that bunch of goats were now too. He used to have a bunch of
Yeah.
Spanish goats, but they's back on the other side of the range.
Yeah.
And he just come from here down in there.
And I mean, there was some big old bennies in there that had horns, and some of these hunters would pay you no telling what to shoot one
I
of
like to
them.
get in on those with my dogs too.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Boy, they had
El
some
Paso,
tremendous
and he
old
calls
horns on
Leo has the scales and horns on top of his dog barn after his long shot. Ever seen those horns? Each one looks like it's right at 30 inches. They curl about 3 times before they hit
Spanish
down.
goat, spiral type
What
horn.
do you think about it? I said to you
Monstrous
about
fun.
it.
Roger, you ever get a Barbados without
I
helicopter?
just had said much more.
Yeah, but the ones I gathered were gentle. These
So
wild
he's
ones,
gonna
you
send me
can't
the
do
article
nothing.
Don't like them
in.
together?
No, I've tried it up here at home, at Comstock, you know, the death place, and no, they'll jump a fence like a deer. Those barbecue, the young ones won't, they'll run through
Well,
it, but
this
those
is another
big
thing.
ones,
I said,
they'll,
what do you do
they'll
with your
jump
day? I mean, do you?
That might still work out there where there's no fences.
they'll run off those bluffs, a 100 mph and never even slow down. They'll go down that old slick rock bluff and just hit every
The
other
2 days
rock
off
and
all year
shoot, there's no
round,
way in the world.
do it like, there's
You know,
several
if
ways
you
you
ever
can do
maybe
your
caught
time.
them up on top of that
If you
decent
finish work
fence, maybe,
straight,
and pushed them away from there
like
where they used to be, you may be able to
I
get
mean, if
them.
you were to do it that way, would you start right then on the next grade?
That's kinda like those goats, you get them away from where they always used to be in a strange country, then you got them,
Yeah.
because they don't know how to get away from you, but.
Well, actually, my
That's
kids
what
dad
happened up
starts
there.
school real
I
early.
used to have a bunch
So we
of
start school
Spanish
early.
goats there, and
Why do you have
I don't know,
it?
they
Do you
run
ever
about
get,
3
do you
different
just
bunches.
start, or do you like do,
I told you,
they
I
were
said,
saying
you
like
got
9
to
weeks
do
and then
goats,
2
I said,
weeks
they're
off and
running
then
that
9
country.
weeks?
Well, all
I mean,
of
there's
them
several
said,
different ways to do your year.
400 head of it, and I said, I'll bet you there's
Now,
over
Becky did
1,000
hers
goats.
like
Oh,
that.
no.
She did it
couldn't
where
do
it was
that,
on
man.
5 weeks and off a week, and on 5 weeks and off a week.
And do it all year long.
And then she
What do
took
you reckon?
like
I said, go
an
around
extra
the world.
time at Christmas and. was that
Me and their
the-
Mexican boy, we were when I started on one side, got after them, of course, when they did, they just go across the fences, they were just like they weren't even there.
But like her oldest
They got up there
child.
to the last fence, and they didn't want to go any further, so we kinda calmed down there, opened the gate, moved them over in the next pasture, closed the gate behind them, and I told them, I said, 2 of you boys get on the other side of that fence, and then the rest of us, you bring them, take the goats up the road to the house.
What I try to do is decide.
But did you know that about 5 or 6 of those goats jumped the fence in front of those guys before we got to the ranch with it? They got him up there and counted him with 1,300 and some odd head of goats. And that's what they do. He said, I never believe it. And I said, I told you this to the goats. I said, you look at the country tell that, you. I never
You
thought
have a
that
curriculum to
many
go by.
But what happens is they make them go out there and get them goats to eat. And they do, we'll bring a whole bunch and they just bring them, cut off a bunch of them. And then they finally get up the house.
Do you need a jacket?
They probably had the old man.
Get your cap on, Colt.
Cole, let's put your red
Get
jacket
your
on,
coat and
please.
cap on.
Okay, Jay, do you have some animals that would like to eat all these scraps?
Look on that couch.
Did 1,000 more than he thought he had.
Yeah, he took them goats to sell it right quick.
It's
bet
got
he
the
did.
Takes
instructions
him
on
on to
it.
get the phone and
Oh, no, yeah,
Two pills the first day.
Oh, how do I get some goat?
I tell you, once they get spoiled, they're hard to get.
They
Yeah.
were really spoiled.
That's what he said, give 2 pills. I told her, I said, gosh, I'm sure it's those little ones that were in the pen, there was just 2 of
Those
them.
things, they know where a hole in the fence
Give
is.
2 the first day and then
Yeah.
each day for 4 days after
If
that.
one of them gets
Hey,
out,
Cole,
one
shut
of
that door when you go out. Shannon left it open, please.
You're welcome, and you didn't give me the price. Sorry, no idea.
I'll use this
Yeah,
as a
once they get those holes figured out.
What I ran
kind
into.
of like old deer. Boy, you can see a deer just a flying. You said, boy, when he hits that fence, that's gonna be a dead duck. And boy, he just zoom right on through and never break and stride. There'd be a hole this big as that deer, that big around, and they'll hit him, just never even slow down.
I've never seen them without legs.
I used to can't afford them, but they didn't have it.
Pretty good looking toy.
You don't have to teach yourself
Where'd that come
to
from?
dance plan every day.
Touchstone made it for me.
I like this they put on the back, you can put your thumb out there anywhere you want to.
That'd be nice to have everything.
Well, Dale's fixing to have me order some knife blades.
When we get to this.
He's
Is that stag? And that's what I was talking about the other day.
Yeah.
We go on to something else.
Yeah, this has been worked down. I don't know if Dale wants his like this, or if he wants the thing that's got the big bulb, where it was attached to the skull, or what.
Yeah, plus, I'll plan on
Yeah.
this stuff, I'm gonna teach Shannon, borrowing.
Pretty good.
And then it's
Got a
like,
sharp too.
she'll.
Now you got
she acts like
fingerprints
she's
all
already
over
had it or something. You know, sometimes I don't feel like I teach him anything, it's just all of a
I
sudden.
haven't sharpened my pocket knife in over a year, and it's getting
Or
dull.
else we'll hit on something that.
I haven't had time. I've been doing too many other
Yeah,
things.
and we'll go over and over and over, sometimes I'll just leave it and come back later.
Yeah.
There's been things that she just.
Does he make knives for a hobby, or?
She's not
No.
ready for it.
Well, I guess, he just,
And I did that on several
just
stages
made
of
this
her
knife.
wedding, I thought.
You know, there's a whole lot of these styles of little
Somebody
bitty,
made that one?
yes, sir.
the little
Mine
short
flips in her
drop
mind.
point like
And
that.
she takes off and I think, we haven't studied that yet, or we can go over that, or.
That's
so we
what we
quit
clothes.
that. We quit
No,
that.
it's
So
not.
I figured this out.
We already made it
I
out of
just,
it.
I
just keep throwing all this stuff.
Sam, I don't know.
Sticks.
Looks like stainless
No,
steel.
my gut
It
instinct
may not
tells
be.
me I'm really
Yeah,
right
that's
about
stainless
just
steel,
leaving
but
things off and going back to the way
It's
it's
not the
6 months
hardest
later.
grade, no.
That's probably that 440C, they call it.
That get me in trouble.
I got a knife with a little more here.
Has anyone ever asked you about that? I mean,
Just
It
a-
comes on either side of it.
Like a dagger, big blade, either both sides are sharp. Huh.
Well, it's red, it's built, not a blade just like that, it's on the back
Well, I
side.
didn't, I said, well, we went through it right
Yeah, it's a
there. Makes it look good, huh?
frameless knife.
I bet you could catch up with them. Think you can?
It's a Mexican name.
DeLeon.
Said, wait for me, I got little feet.
I've got a DeLeon
Small
knife,
legs.
kinda like that.
It might be, and I don't remember.
Go out there and find
Very
Jay.
good.
Just play Jay.
It's
Talk.
$150 for $50 for it.
Now watch the camera, please.
Cold out there?
Well, and it's just, I don't know, like, if I'm used to.
I'm fixing to order those two black blades for Dale.
Well, I'm not, no, that's not sharp on the other side
Well,
though.
they have
Now, one of the blades Dale is ordering looks like that.
You know, Jim Barnaby before Stockton, he makes pretty good oil, he doesn't make them anymore, he used to.
Well, I guess that's what it is.
To talk to. And you have to send.
You could sharpen that side here
papers
if
or
you wanted
something
to.
for them to
That's a
see.
good knife he gave me.
Correspondence course.
Well, like
What's
a
that bone head?
curriculum or whatever,
That's a sharp
that you're to
knife.
follow.
It's like
No,
taking a
that's
knife
a
through my
pocket
hand,
knife.
fucking
And you
knife
send
through my
papers
arm,
in.
right here one time, it's coming up on the
Yeah, I
side.
check them in. And this is only a couple times a year. So they individualize the curriculum.
Yes,
Cut
as
down.
a child.
Boy, that thing is heavy, isn't it?
I had it on my belt
And
this
so I
morning,
don't
and
know
the
exactly,
scabbard was
No, I
sticking to
just
the
don't
bottom
know
of the
this
scabbard. I
works.
don't know what to get in the pickup,
so,
put my hand on the seat that I was squeezing myself in there and sit down on it. I just pushed it all the way through there.
That is one heavy knife.
ways of doing it. And
That
so
thing
much
was
so,
between the bones there in my hand.
oh yeah,
Right.
it's just that, but in my head, you know, that's.
Set my Carter handle
Like
there,
we all have to talk about homeschool.
like getting my Carter.
I don't know what it
It's either that or that pica wood they call it.
They got all different kinds of my Carter wood, a rosewood, but
We found the different personalities.
That micarta is made out of linen and rosin.
yeah, I
Or
think
just a
so.
different way of doing things. What's comfortable for one.
Boy, Dale saw that catalog, I got he was nuts, he just wants, he's fixing to get the business.
I don't really know. I was talking to her the other day.
Oh.
She is.
I got a friend gave me that knife. Well, very useful. I never had to use it. Never been out of the house. I guess I've had it. I've had it
How long
probably
does it
18
take?
years.
Huh. Nothing wrong with having a good one just to hang on to.
We'll quit rock with you.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like you're gonna fly outside?
Well, you don't want to fly it down.
Fish forever.
I'm ready to eat
Is-
some.
is- Isn't in her, where her car is, isn't that?
Garage.
Oh.
He just doesn't have a penny, and just, all of us are just rich, and just carries on and on. I bet the guy's got more money than all of us put together. He's the only one that knows anything about anything. That's what gets me.
Oh, he's a character.
He is for a fact. His son-in-law works in there with him just like him.
Yeah. That's a handy business to have, though, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Because you sometimes you need something, you know, it's a one-shot deal. You can't go out and buy it.
And I'll guarantee
Go in
you,
there and get something.
you can't blame him for being crabby about the way people treat his stuff. They think it's not there, so why take care of it?
Well, I bet his stuff does get abused.
I'm sure it
I think
does.
anytime you loan something, you know, to somebody that you don't know, or
Yeah,
something, you know how it comes
now
back
it comes
sometimes.
back.
Of the different tribes in New Mexico.
Well, I've rented that ditch switch from him several times, and I've rented the compressor from him 2 or 3 times. I don't worry about the little stuff, but if he starts trying to stick you for a big repair bill on the big stuff, you can go round and round with him and hurt him. The first time I rented one of those compressors, you had to have, there was a whole series of switches you had to go through to get this thing, the oil pressure up and all this kind of stuff. Said if you don't do this, you blow up this compression, it's X number of $1,000 and on and on and on. So I guess he got tired of telling people all that, because next time I rented, he had it all, he'd bypassed all that safety stuff on that thing, and you pulled one button and you were gone.
You know, we drilled it out there for a while, and
That-
you know, somebody come along and changed the
Yeah,
setup on it.
Ricky didn't have it wide open after we got up to 100 pounds like we're supposed to, then we got some rock broke.
Yeah,
Well, that was the same compressor, Sam, but he's got it fixed now. When it starts up,
Yeah.
it does, it goes up through that warm-up phase, then it kicks on and goes on up to operating pressure. You don't have to sit there and manually do all
Yeah,
that.
it's a good deal.
Yeah, it's an Angus all-around compressor.
All we were using it for this pavement breaker. On
Yeah,
the
breaking rocks and those post holes down at Pete's. You know, he's still fussing about that every once in a while. We got the holes done though.
And then the bottom drops out, and it's like,
Whoa!
It's
It's
a whole
a
other
screen
scene.
around you, so you're sitting there and you're flying over,
I used going down out of Houston one time with Mexican putting in the
says the
pipeline.
helicopter goes straight, and you can just see the bottom drops
The
out.
pipeline went around the point.
And then there was parts of
There's
it.
a bunch of ledges there.
Parts of it, and you close your eyes.
What's the
and-
5 stories called, the screen?
Well, I don't know, I guess that was old John Allen's old compressor. Had to kind of look like an old paddle of a deal on that thing.
And then you actually have
And I
to
get up on
walk
top of one of those ledges and just
to where
start,
the seats are, because
and
there's
then
no
just
seats
break that
directly
rock
in front
all to pieces. You just go right on down in there and then Mexicans just pull that rock out of there. You put that pipeline on and just, but it was about 200 yards there and I didn't have one going buried. I broke every bit of it with that hammer all the way on top of those
I would
ledges.
love to go now. I think now the prices are $7.50 a ticket, you know, look at
Clifton got his place finished up there that Keller's bunch shot for him, didn't he, Sam?
Huh?
He's got this road finished. Clifton, didn't he, that road Keller shot for him?
Yeah,
He got that finished, didn't he?
yeah.
Last time I heard, he was just tickled pink
Well,
with what
he
they did
was.
for
He
him.
was.
Yeah, over here on the highway, yeah. He, I tell you what, I didn't know what an artist Clifton was on that dozer though. After you get up that bank, and he built a bunch of roads in there, up that little old canyon with a dozer himself. That golly did a good job.
They use the
It's just a
same.
place down where you crossed or something, he tried to describe it to me, but,
Yeah, before you cross that Vinegar Draw there.
yeah, he was wanting to, that looks like we're gonna have to dynamite.
There's an old bank. He tried to buy, there's a little offset right there. And he tried to buy that from Chick Miller. And I thought Chick would sell it to him. That old Quig Ranch, you know. Chick acted like he would, but then he never would do anything about it. It's just hard to get back in there.
We started out, trying to buy some dynamite or something to blast that with, and wound up, Robert talked to that fella down there and what's the cheapest thing to do, just let us go do it.
They didn't charge him hardly anything, did
How
they,
much?
Sam?
Charged him $750 and then went up there twice.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't they,
He got
$750
it done for that?
down for that.
Sam, did they take a dozer up there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a big old dozer.
D8,
Yeah.
or that 7, I don't remember
I'll
which
tell you
one.
what, he got a deal if they did that for
Yeah.
Well, he
$750.
said, told him, said, we'll do the blasting on it, and sell it all off there for $750.
When Clifton told me what they're gonna do, I was thinking to myself, he's gonna spend $2,000-3,000 here trying to blow that ledge up. I had no idea he'd get it done that
When
cheap.
Sam called me, I went to Keith, the guy that owns that company, and asked him if they, told him who they were, and said, I know they're responsible people, they want to buy some dynamite and blasting caps and build a road out on the ranch. He said, well, we can't do that anymore because of insurance, but he said, I'll tell you what we will do, we'll have, Snuffy, who's their superintendent, talk to him, we'll send their blasting guy down there that does all their work for them. He talked to Clifton, they worked out a deal, and that's what he got out of the deal. No wonder he was tickled pink what he got.
Yeah, he just.
I knew it wasn't much.
Well,
Well, that Harvey Treves, that's from Fredericksburg, that's their blaster, that guy's an artist for that dynamite.
Well, Clifton Dover wouldn't push that stuff up there, so they just went
Except
down
for
and
the
got
one
one
guy
there
who
and
got the rope.
put it on the truck and brought it up there and
Yeah,
shoved it off there for him.
they did a good job. But I tell you what, when that draw runs real big, he's gonna have a washout there at the bottom. They blasted that and then they brought some of that gravel down.
Got a ramp there, it's gonna take off.
And, it's real good now,
Yeah,
but that old water is sure powerful. Sooner or later it'll wash. He'll have to get back in there with a dozer. Of course, now it won't be near so bad because he's got all those banks blasted off.
Yeah. Have you ever been out there at Pecos where the Park Service had that boat ramp and all that parking area blasted out of the canyon there in Pecos? Well, Harvey, the one that did all that for the Park Service out there, he said that's the only time he's ever got in trouble in his life. They had a blasting cage set up there somewhere, and where they were blasting up above some of the Park Service buildings they had there. He thought he had everything just right, and as always, if something went wrong, that blasting cage just picked up. He said it just did a slow motion turn like this, landed right on top of the superintendent's trailer down there. They said they had to replace their trailer. He said it's kind of like Monty talking about throwing a rock at somebody. You watch, you know it's going to hit them, you hope it doesn't. I said that old thing, right on top of that trailer.
Wake up, Monty.
It's siesta time, isn't it? Siesta
Better
time.
go take your walk. That's what I did a while ago.
Yeah.
That
pretty
fish
good.
was too good. Oh, it was. Sam over there at the ranch, over there at Daddy's, up that canyon behind my grandmother's house, you know, there's an old header tank way up there. And there's a, below that header tank, there's an old cement, round cement water trough. Did your family drill that up there?
Probably did. They drilled them. Don't tell them how many wells they drilled around there.
Well, I know on the edge of that airplane field there was an old dirt tank there, and there was a well, and there used to be a shack. Some of the Newmans lived there. My grandmother told me, you know. But that header tank was there when my granddaddy came there,
Yeah.
and they thought that your dad had probably had it
Probably
built.
did.
And I just was wondering if you had any idea when they built it, or
No, I don't have any idea. They call that the old dry ranch up there.
the dry ranch.
That's what they call it, the dry ranch. They drilled, don't tell them how many wells around, but they never did go, you know, deep enough or something,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know whether it was your daddy or your granddaddy got down on the edge of that creek there and drilled that well and got good, lots of water.
Yeah.
I guess it might have been EA, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not sure when they drilled that well. You know, they had a well way up. Daddy said, well, I know where the well was, way up on top of the divide.
Yeah.
And they piped water from top of that divide down to the header tank and then down to the house. And I'm not sure when they got that well. I don't know if my daddy did that or my granddaddy did that
Well,
at that house. But they got,
I think that what started all that was that some outfit oil companies leased some country down at the George Head. And they went down on the bed of that creek and started drilling down, you know, that's where they were going to drill their well, they were going to drill their surface thing. And they drilled down there not very far, and they just hit an ocean of water down there. And it just kept caving in, that gravel kept caving in. They finally cased it, and they said there was an inexhaustible amount of water in that hole there. You couldn't pump it dry.
yeah.
Well, George went on down the draw there at the mouth of that, where there was open holler he lived on, and drilled that well down there where you go around the corner of that hill. That's where they got their water to the house.
Yeah.
He drilled that well there, and George even been up over it a time or two,
Yeah.
and you can't even phase that well with that electric pump we got on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I think your daddy was the one that decided he was gonna drill
again.
down there. He went down on the edge of that bank there on the draw and drilled that
Well,
well.
I'm going back to work.
He got wells of water.
Going back to work.
Then they drilled another one, didn't they? I wonder if
Yeah, we got 3 wells there now, Sam.
You
One
have
of
to
them,
get you a winter
the
cap, put
casing
some
was
cement
too
on that
small.
one.
Yeah, the
or-
original one, the casing was too small to put a submersible pump in. Of course, we had a windmill. But the
Okay.
casing was too
I know
small to put a
that feeling,
submersible pump in it. Now we got a pump jack on it, and then they got 2 others with submersibles. But they're good, strong.
Yeah, right in the bottom of that draw.
Yeah,
And them old people back in those days were drilling up on the side of the hill and getting nothing.
yeah,
They drilled in the blue and
quit.
that's quit.
Yeah, and had that old cistern there and drank water that run off the tin roof out of that
Right.
cistern.
Yeah.
Fellas want something to drink?
What do you got?
You want some tea?
Something strong?
No, I got some strong tea.
You mean you haven't got a bottle hid out around here? boy?
No, not that I know of. I can go up and raid the hunter's house. There's probably one
No,
up
we don't
there.
want that.
I guess you can find some up there.
I bet you could
That's
too.
important stuff.
Out there at Dale's the other day, that bunch of hunters out there, first thing they did, we drove up, you guys want a drink? They had bottles all over the place.
Like that old guy walking to the liquor store and down and said, asked him, had any old crow? And he, no, said, I don't have any old crows. Said, I got some squirrel whiskey. No, he said, oh, he asked me if I had squirrel whiskey. And he said, no, said, I got some old crows. And he said, I don't want to fly, I just want to jump around with you.
Sam, when your dad had that country over there at the ranch where we are now?
Yeah.
Did they run goats over there, or cattle, or sheep? Or
I think cattle's all they had.
Just cattle's all they
I
had.
think so. That's what took them under, that cow business. They come down here to raise cattle.
Yeah. Well, that gum. I see why they call that the dry ranch. If all they had was that old header tank and no well,
Alright, whatever.
they had to move to keep those cattle moved quite a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, and there's an old building that's still there that was there when my daddy had that place. I don't know whether it was an old salt house or what it was. It's an old building there. Some kind of a shed or I don't know what it is.
Where was it at?
I don't remember one time seeing it. Well, somewhere right there at the house, you know.
Right there close to the house?
Yeah, right there close to the pen, somewhere on there. There was an old salt house or something like that.
That was there when your daddy.
When my daddy had it, I don't know whether he built it or what, but the reason I know that it was there was I had a cousin that was there on the ranch with him when they lived there. He knew all about that place. And he come down here one time to visit me from California, and he said, "Sam," he said, "I tell you what I want you to do when I'm down." He said, "I want to go back on my old stomping grounds one more time before I die." And I said, "Where were you stomping grounds?" Well, he said, "I want to go up to the old dry ranch." He said, "I want to get in Dry Devil's River and I want to go clear to the mouth of it." And I said, "Well, you just happen to be in luck because the seismograph crew just come up through there." And I said, "There's a road and I can go in the Jeep." And he and I went over there and we come into the highway and come down there and come with the ranch right there. And I don't know whether we talked to EA or whoever was anybody there. And he saw that old house there and he said that old building was there when
That was probably right there in the pen.
somewhere, yeah.
It was an old wooden building?
Yeah.
Okay, when I was growing up, there was a little old wooden building right there in the pens, and we used it for a saddle house. We kept the saddles in.
Yeah.
And the old thing just finally fell down, fell apart.
Well, this was
But-
before you was born when he come down in.
But it was a little, little bitty.
Yeah, it's
Bitty.
just a small
Yeah.
wooden building.
Well, I didn't know where that came from. I'd assumed that my granddaddy had built
Yeah,
it.
he
But I
said-
know what you're talking about.
That old,
It's not there now.
he said
but-
the only thing that's here now that was here when I was a kid growing up with your daddy said is that old building right there.
Huh.
And we went on down Dry Devil's River, clear on down into Horseshoe Bend around by Fort Harris's old country, went on down to that old Klein Ranch, kept right on going on down through Mabel's country and come out at the mouth of Dry Devil's River in the Jeep. We spent the whole day, took us lunch,
Looking around.
yeah,
huh?
just looking around. He said, "You know how."
We'll see you later.
Y'all come see us.
Yeah. See y'all later. Y'all take
Good to
care.
visit with you.
Enjoy
I stole some
seeing
fish
y'all.
and going home.
All right.
It's gonna feed
Hope you
yourself.
enjoy it.
I did already.
Me too.
Go home, go to drinking
Okay.
water now.
I do.
Bye-bye.
Tori. Thank you for lunch. It was real good. Thank you for the fish, Sam.
Oh, that's Charlene's fish.
Well, thank everybody then.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Enjoyed the visit.
Talk to y'all later. You too, Mom. Bye-bye. It's cold opening that back door. You get fire on.
Over there in that old Quig West pasture, I think y'all call that canyon prickly pear. Is
Yeah,
that
old
what-
Canyon, yeah.
Prickly pear, is that the
Yeah.
one that runs up into that into the quig
I
there?
think that's right.
Goes in the, there's a lime kiln up that canyon.
Yeah.
Do you know where that is? Have you ever been to that?
No.
Mr. Fawcett, they said, built that thing he built. There's 4 header tanks up there, and there's that lime kiln. And I was just wondering, that thing is, golly, probably 8 feet deep, maybe 6 or 8 feet across, and it's right at the bank, and they chiseled it out of solid rock. And there at the bottom, it's vented out into the creek bed. And I just wondered how they did that. What?
Well, they took the rocks and made the lime out of it, and they built a fire and heated it. And it made it, so they finally, I don't know just exactly what the process is, but.
And then that lime, they used it to make plaster, to
Plaster
plaster
these
those old
tanks,
rocks
Yeah,
together.
yeah, they took, built a, on them old header tanks and they stacked these rocks one on top of the other, and then they point up, that's what they call pointing up, is, you know, where the cracks was, they run a special mixture, you know, all that, and point all those cracks up, and then they plaster that thing on, just maybe about that thick of plaster all on the inside.
And all that was made out of that lime?
Yeah,
from
made out of
that-
that lime, and I don't know whether they mixed some cement with it, but it made the cement go a lot further. Cause you know, back in those days, they had to haul that cement a long way. When Mr. Fawcett first came to this country, he bought nearly all his supplies at Kerrville.
Yeah, I knew that. Walter told me that his dad used to get stuff from there.
He told,
The Shriners financed him when he
Yeah,
started out.
yeah. Yeah, when they lived up there at that old burnt ranch, that was before I was born. I was born in 1912. I don't know what year, I don't have any idea what year they were in there.
Well, now, where was the burnt ranch? You said they lived at the burnt ranch?
No, I mean, it was dry ranch,
Dry ranch.
yeah.
Well, your dad actually lived up there?
Yeah.
Well,
I
now,
don't know how many years they lived there, and don't even know whether they had a house or not, because they were kind of nomadic people. They lived in tents or anything.
yeah. Well, I didn't realize that they'd ever lived there.
Yeah.
Beside that airstrip there, there's an old dirt tank, and they used to, my grandmother said that when she and my granddaddy, they built that house, you know, in 1916.
Mm-hmm.
And she said when they first moved down there, after they were married, there was a little wooden house right there beside that dirt tank, and there was no well there, but the well caved in.
Yeah.
And she didn't know who built the house. But she said that the Newmans, some of the Newmans, of course she was related, her first husband was a Newman.
Well, yeah, Emmett.
But some of the Newmans had lived in there, and I don't remember which one she said it was.
Yeah.
And she said other people had used it through the years, but she didn't know who originally built it,
Yeah.
or who originally lived there. So I wondered if maybe that might have been some of your family.
Might have been. You know, the Newmans lived down at Gravel Water Hole, because the old man, Grandpa Newman, and the old lady, and Bud, and one of the grandchildren buried there in the graveyard at Gravel Water Hole.
What water hole?
Gravel Water Hole, down there where Horace's old country is.
Yeah.
Have you never walked to that old graveyard?
No, I've heard my grandmother talk about them
They
being
had a
buried
rock
down
fence
there.
around it,
Yeah.
and the only grave that had a tombstone was Bud. And Bud's wife put that tombstone there. You know, Bud's the one that guy killed up there. And he wasn't but 21 years old when he got killed, 21 or 22 years, just a young man.
Where was he killed?
Oh, killed him up there somewhere towards Juneau, I don't remember just exactly.
Well, Emmett was killed, my grandmother's first husband was killed over there on that Galloway Road.
Yeah, old man
Yeah.
Gatlin killed him.
You like on purpose?
Yeah.
I mean, murder?
Murdered him. Uh-huh.
There was a fuse or something over an old dirt tank or something, it was an old water fuse.
Yeah.
And then the first one thing I think brought on, Papa could tell you everything to the nth about all of it, but he's gone. And he said that old man Gatlin was a foot, you know, and had no 30-30, and said Emmett was a horseback and had a pistol, and he was leaning over and shooting on that horse's neck, and old man Gatlin, of course, you on a horse and running that way, you had all the stripes was against you. Old man Gatlin was shooting at him with that
Yeah.
with a 30-30.
They'd been waiting for him there. They
Yeah.
told me.
I think he hit old man Gatlin in the arm.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandmother said, I know where that happened. My grandmother said she was up there at the house. Of course, Beatrice was just a baby.
Yeah.
Beatrice was born in 1906, is that right? Yeah, Beatrice was born in 1906, and she
Yeah.
was just an infant when her daddy was
Yeah.
killed.
Mhm.
So that probably happened about 1906. And that was the same year that my granddaddy came out here. And then I think they married in 1915 or 16.
I don't know how many
Married.
years in Emmett. But which one was one of those Newmans?
Well, Bud was sent to He was the one that was sent to the pen for robbing the train, wasn't
Yeah, and he turned state's evidence against this other guy. And it seemed to me like his name was Taylor, Bill Taylor, or something like that. And they got Bud out and they started trailing that guy, was gonna kill him, and they got up there and old Taylor killed Bud. And they brought him back to Gravel Water Hole and buried him there, and that's where the old man, the old lady, and one of the grandchildren, I don't know, seemed like one of the grandchildren belonged to Ben Newman.
he? Well, they never actually owned any country, did they?
No,
Didn't they just,
I don't have, if they owned any country,
they just used it, huh?
Ben might have owned some country over around Glen Spring. There was a section of land that fenced up with an old barbed wire fence, and my daddy said that one of the Newman, I guess it was Ben Newman, that he lived there at that old Glen Spring, and built a little old house there and had a garden there at that spring and had a bunch of goats in the privy. There at that old Glen Spring, there's a big old rock. It's partially covered up now, and it's got all a bunch of brands carved, you know, just chiseled in there with a chisel and with a hammer. I mean, you know, they're deep. Ben Newman's brand there, and I don't know. Papa used to tell me who all the brand was in that old rock there.
Where's that at now?
That old Glen Spring, there's where my old place I used to live on.
I see.
That old spring, that Glen Spring, is named after these glens. You know, you've heard of them over around Carter Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the family you're talking about.
Yeah, that old man Glen, I guess he probably lived there one time, and they named that spring after him. It just was a little, I don't mind that spring, it was only a quart and a pint a minute, but it was good, it never did phase, it stayed the same all the time, but it run that way all during that drought. Never did weaken a bit.
Well, at one time, didn't your family live there where Horace Fawcett's
Yeah, I lived there.
That was their headquarters
That's
at
what
one
they
time,
call
wasn't
the gravel water hole. I don't know what, that was, it was just a water hole there in the drawer, just like it is now when it rains.
But that dries up now.
Yeah,
doesn't
it dries up, and it used to dry up back in those days too. It dry up, and they'd go out there and dig down and in that thing, and the water would seep in. They'd dip that water up out of there, and water cattle there. And there's been a lot of fights fought over the gravel water hole there. And when Papa lived there, he had a little old lean-to wooden shack there, and on the front of it had a brush arbor on it, just sycamore poles, and I guess sycamore limbs and leaves and cedar and stuff on top of the old arbor, brush arbor. And then back on the back side of it, they had it boarded up the same width as the house, and the wall would go up about 5 or 6 feet, and then they had a ridge pole on it, and they stretched a piece of white canvas over the top of it, and had a door on it. It was pretty warm in the winter time. I remember going out there when I was a little bitty old kid and seeing that they had their cook stove and cooking in there, and they slept in that wooden part of it. And it was some of the Coopers lived there one time. I don't know whether you ever heard of the Coopers or not.
No, sir.
They went out west here from Will Cooper. And, well, it was you remember hearing about Cooper's store out there south of Sanderson in there? There was a place they called Cooper's store.
No, I'm not that familiar with that area.
Well, they moved off out in there. Old Will Cooper was a racehorse man. And I believe old man Cooper is the fellow that built that little house down there that Papa moved into. And the old man and old lady Newman lived there at Gravel Water Hole. I don't know where they lived, what kind of a house they had or anything. But the whole clan lived there for I don't know how many years.
When those people lived there, did they have, what livestock did they have?
Yeah, they had some livestock. I don't know, some cattle. I imagine what they had, horses and cattle, and and the old man and old lady, and some of them lived there at Gravel Water Hole, and that's all the water they had because there was no well there. Of course, back in those days, Darrell, water was easier to come by than it is now. What I mean, year around, like a tank or a spring or something like that. It rained once in a while, and then it all floods and run off and fill these water holes up and the whole water. But now, I don't mind, there's a drop of water in that old water hose.
Well, they tell me those old water hoses like that, whenever they ran cattle, those cattle would wade out in them to drink,
Yeah,
and they kept those things packed down where they'd hold that.
yeah, right,
And whenever people quit running so many cattle, ran sheep and goats, a lot of those old hoses quit
yeah.
holding.
And I remember my daddy telling me that he could remember when it'd be just as dry as it could be, and all of a sudden that old creek would start running clear water down there. And where it come from, he said, I don't have any idea where it come from.
Dry devils.
Dry devils would start running clear water, just fill up in holes.
I wish you'd do that now.
I wish I did too.
Sure helped me out.
Well, if we ever have a rainy season, it ever runs again, it'll start running again up there above Horace's old house, but, I guess a mile or so up there. Jack Brown got that now down there.
Yeah.
The little canyon down there they call Camp Spring in there. They just start running about where Camp Spring runs, they run all the way plumb on to the river.
Down there in George's country on Dry Devils River, I think they call it Spotted Oak, there where
Well, that's right, that's the
that
next canyon over from Camp Spring.
Okay. And in Spotted Oak where that black man was buried?
No, that black man's buried there
I remember there's a flagstone there, and scratched in that flagstone, a nigger is buried here.
yeah.
Oh, that's it.
That's the tombstone. The nigger, isn't that right?
It's down there, Darrell. I could go right back to it, but I don't know if I could tell you.
Well, I know about where it is. I know, in fact, I could find it, but I don't know. I
Well,
don't
it's
remember
before
what.
you get to Horseshoe Bend.
But I don't remember what they call the place. I know where it is, but I
They
don't know
call
what
it
they
the
call it.
old Newman Well.
The Newman Well.
Yeah, and I know, I guess old man Newman drilled a well.
Well, there's a windmill right there, so.
Well, when my daddy had that country, there was a windmill in an old dirt tank there. And, seemed to me like the windmill was an old wooden eclipse windmill there.
But we're talking about in Horses.
Well, it's in Davis's now, it belongs to Mr. Lynn and
Yeah.
Edith.
Yeah,
Right in the
Yeah.
mouth of the canyon there.
yeah, that's it.
And that nigger's buried up there, there was just a little marble rock or some kind there. I remember seeing
It's
the
a
grave.
flagstone.
I don't even remember what was on it or anything, but that nigger drowned there in Dry Devils.
But I was wondering who was he with. I heard somebody say one time and I forgot.
When he went off by himself, said the horse hunting.
I've seen it.
And he went right across the draw there, and then he couldn't get back. He started to get back, and he drowned.
Looks like it keep
Yeah.
ready. I wish
And I don't know whether his horse is on the west
Well,
side or on the east side.
George Tomlinson or Edith or somebody told me one time that there was a bunch down there that were camped, and they sent him out to bring in their horses, and the draw came down and got him. And I just wondered who it was that was camped
I
and
don't
had
have
him.
any idea.
They had him with them to cook or do chores or whatever.
I just been a cowhand. I don't know. I remember my daddy, he used to tell me about it, but who they were, they might have told me who they were. Probably did.
Yeah.
Just didn't went in one area and out the other like most things do.
What's more? That's enough.
That old Dry Devils River's got whitey through the
Oh,
years.
you bet. Yeah, just like Dolan Draw. I was telling me and Ann and Dennis, I said, I can remember when I started out so much. When you come in the Quig pasture over there, from there down here, after you left Dry Devil River, you couldn't even get a pick up a load of gravel out of the creek there. It's just dirt and brush.
Yeah.
Mostly dirt.
Golly, it's a wired old gravel bar now.
Yeah, you bet it is. That old Spotted Oak, when Papa had that country, the spring was right down in the bottom of the draw, and they had it kind of rocked up around the side of it, and go from the draw run, and they just cave in there and then stop up their pipe, and they run it in an old metal tank, and I think George took that same old tank and punched a whole bunch of holes in it and plastered inside and out, and it's still using it. As far as I know, it's still right there.
Well, I'll be doing.
But he abandoned the spring down in the bottom of the drawer, and he followed that water up, and would come off the side of the hill up there and build a little concrete retainer thing, and put his pipe in there and run it back in there where it never stops up. And I don't think they ever had any trouble with it. And got a lot more water. And there were some big old oak trees there, old spotted oak, old Spanish oak. Every one of them died. When he moved the spring from down there up the side of the hill, well, that
Dried up and there wasn't enough water for it, huh?
killed the trees.
Hmm. It's interesting to know about all these old places and who was there and what they did.
Yeah. That old Newman well, it wasn't a very deep well. I can remember once in my life when Papa going up there and pulling the, I don't know, pull the rod or the pipe or anything. And I remember they pulled it with off the horseback. And they didn't get it fixed, then they pulled the pipe and used the wagon to pull that pipe. Wagon with a team to move. And dry weather was
Pretty good stuff, yeah.
the sand would go dry. And then when it rained, the water would come back in. See, they just drilled down in those clay and boulders and then they hit water and they'd quit. There's plenty of water. When of course it's water in wet weather, but when it come a dry spell, well, the bottom was going out of it.
Yeah. And that Newman well, that was down there in Edith's,
Yeah.
where Edith's country is. Yeah.
And my daddy drilled a well on down where Horace's old place is, and the same thing up on side of the hill there, and he drilled it down, hit the, we went down in the clay and boulder, had plenty of water, and that well finally, Horace had to go drill it. But he moved down the hill next to the house, down there and drilled about 420-30 feet, and got the, he went on through the clay and boulder, you know, he cased that off, and went to the main water table, plenty of water. You know, old fellas back in those days when they were drilling those wells, they drilled down and hit the water and they were afraid to drill and the fellas afraid they'd hit a cave and lose what they had. They don't think about it,
They just hit it and quit right there.
Hit it and quit right there, wouldn't drill it further. Well, one thing about Mr. Fawcett, when he got all this country here, he spent a lot of money on improvements, on fences. None of this whole country was fenced, and most of it, well, he might have had an outside fence on it, but as far as partition fence, he didn't have a partition fence. And herded his sheep, he had, I don't know how many, 5 or 6 flocks of sheep. And they had, wherever there was any permanent water, well, that's where the old herder with his sheep stayed, where they could water his sheep. Then he went to sheriff, on a certain day, whether the sheriff was there, they'd bring those flocks in there and share them down there at headquarters. There was a big old barn down there. You could put 1,000 head of sheep in that barn down there. It was just a stationary shearing plant.
And the herders brought everything into that one place.
And they sheared them right there and kicked them out and took them back to wherever the herders were stationed. They just had so much country they traveled over.
I wonder when did they quit using herders in this country? I know my grandfather still used herders when he came out here for a while.
Yeah.
Till they got some fences down
I imagine back around 1918, 1920, somewhere along there, that's when they started fencing this country. There was a jillion miles, that old, it was what they call page wire, made by the page wire outfit. And it was galvanized, some of it was, some of it wasn't. Some of them said galvanized didn't take them. But it was tempered. And a lot of it that I used to rebuild fences with, it was tempered so hard that you bring it around a post that way and then bring it over to twist that wire around the same wire on the other side of the post, it'd break.
Yeah, it's stiff.
You'd have to splice into it with something soft.
Yeah, we've still got a lot of old fences for that old page one.
Yeah, and that's been here a long, long time.
Daddy told me that his daddy told him that they guaranteed that wire that you couldn't break a roll of it with those old walking dog stretchers. You couldn't get it tight enough to break
That's
it.
right.
And they said they'd give you a roll if you could prove that you broke it with a set of walking dog stretchers.
And they're the ones that, they sold the wire and they sold you the
Stretchers.
old page stretchers.
Had those two.
Yeah.
Had the cog wheels and those two.
Put a lot of pressure on it too with that
Yeah.
thing.
You bet. We've got some of those over there in the barn.
I've seen them and I know what to work. Maybe at your place.
And the pressure and the chain had a swivel and then it had a kind of a triangle deal and the two chains, one went to the bottom of the wire and one went to the top part. And a metal clamp you fasten on there.
You get it tight with those old things.
Oh boy. But there was some of that old wire they sold that is rusty. I mean, it's rusty now, and if you fool with it just least bit, it'll just come all to pieces. But then there's some of it is put up there, and it's just as good today as it was the day it was put up.
Yeah. I wonder when that wire was made, back in the 20s?
Evidently, back in the 20s.
And what a roll of wire cost back then.
You know, I wouldn't have any idea. Wasn't much, but whatever it was hard to come by to pay for it for you.
Yeah, I bet.
And that barbed wire, the American made barbed wire wasn't as severe as one they call a German wire. And everywhere there was barb on there, it wasn't just two barb there, it was four.
4 spikes, huh?
Yeah. And a lot of that was built in there was an old fence built, drift fence built from somewhere on the other side of Carter Valley and come across that way. I don't know exactly where it crossed the highway, but it come out about number 3 down there somewhere in Uncle Bob's old country. And went out across the divide and went through that old place that I lived on and come on across and went through this country, Georgia.
Yeah, I've seen, once in a while you'll see an old cedar post, and George told me it was that old drift fence.
It was built there in 1876. An old man named B.R. Crouch built that fence, and that was a drift fence.
Well, just keep livestock from going too far south or too far
He
north?
built that, and he took up a lot of this land, and I know the abstracts on my little place had, history of him buying this and that and the other, and buying so much land from this guy and so much land, and then took up some land.
B.L. Crouch?
B.L. Crouch. He was an old cowman, and he, in the wintertime, he put those cattle on the south side of that fence, and in the summertime, he put them on the north side of that fence, kind of a prevailing wind.
Yeah. And it went from close to Carter Valley all the way to Delta.
He tried to run it across there where he didn't have to build any water gaps. He did a pretty good job too. I think he had a water gap in Dry River, and then he had one over there somewhere in Red Bluff.
Yeah.
But there in Dry River, he went up over the top of that hill there by George's barn, right up that.
Yeah, I know where it's at.
All he crossed was just some little insignificant draws that wouldn't bother a 3-wire barbed wire fence.
Well, I got
He
to
took
this
it on
first.
down to the mouth of Devil's River and crossed the mouth of Devil's River and went on. They said went on put out 3 close to paper.
And that was built in
1876, I believe that's what
1876. Well, I don't know how many times it was rebuilt, but I know some of those old posts are still standing.
Yeah, and some of them are just solid as they can be.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure are.
And there was some posts in that fence the cedar was big enough that they split them, and they used just half of the tree in the fence. And there's an old, place over on that, my old country. There was one old gate post that's still standing there, and, it evidently had a pole gate, made out of some kind of pole, because at the top there's a fork. You know, they just cut a fork and run it on each side of that pole and then drove a metal boulder, not an old rod or some kind, it's still in that old fork. And down at the bottom, they took a rock, pretty soft rock that way, and they chiseled out a hole in it and set that, what there was a gate post, and that, you know, the gate was built on, so you set it down there, when it go through there, and they had a swinging gate.
Yeah, I've seen rocks that they've done
Yeah.
that with. I've seen it
And you still see that old piece of fork up there, I don't know what in the world, what it is, it's not cedar, it's something else. But you can see where that old gate worked back and forth in that fork. Well, there's another place that was a landmark on the Dry Devil River, that's down there on Clark Water Course. Now, I don't have any idea who the Clark was that it was named after.
And where's that water hole at?
Well, it's on down, it's about 2.5, 3 miles from where the Dry Devil River runs into the main river down there.
Whose country would that be in?
Well, it was in Mabel's old country.
Mabel Islands?
Yeah.
That old river
Those
gets
walking
real
sticks up
narrow
there
in
got
there.
go hard
Yeah.
handles, or is
You
that
can
wood?
step
It's
across,
hard,
it may be
cheap.
15 foot deep, you know, the channel, but it may be 8
Well,
foot
that,
wide.
down
you
there,
know.
what they call their narrows, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
but-
from me to you can hop across the
Yeah.
river right there, and then when it gets down on us, boy, it spreads out 200 or 300 yards wide down there. But it's narrow, right in that one.
And that, you know, Roger, that always was just a narrow, solid rock channel through there. There wasn't any trees on either side of that thing.
No,
It was
sir.
back to right on far back, right on
It's
the
just
river.
a solid, and it's weird how it goes above it and below it, it's
Yeah,
wide, you
yeah.
know, and both right there, I mean, it's weird the way that looks. Solid rock.
Do I need something to drink? And that fish need water?
What are you drinking, Robert?
Tea.
I think maybe that's what I need.
Tea?
I've had my water, thank
I'll
you.
drink a little too.
We should get some good catfish out of them there.
Out of there, right? Well, there's some pretty deep, I tell you.
I got amused at, what's the guy over there, Brackettville, he's been able to our country for a long time.
These tomatoes country?
Yeah, he was on it for a while now. Well, you know who he is. His folks live around. He married one of those, I can't even think of their name. Joe York. He was Joe York's brother-in-law.
Jerry York's brother-in-law.
Yeah?
I know he is, I think his name.
I might recognize the name if I heard it, but I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
all of you know it. There's a bunch of them up here, live up here at Ozona. Well, anyhow, when he had that country lick down there, he said, I'm gonna build me a bridge across. Well, Devil's River here, and I said, well, what are you gonna use? He had some of them little tin horns, had 2 or 3 of them. And there was, right below what they call Patton Crossing. Well, Patton Crossing was named after old man Patton that lived there at Dry Devil River for years and years and years. He went off Bob Meyer and his wife was one of the Pattons. They're the old pioneer family that lived there. But he got right down below Patton Crossing there and he took those tin horns and rolled them off in the river down there, and then you'd be in the whole dirt and stuff. Covered them up, and he had him a bridge across there.
To the first ride, kind of.
You know, I told him, I said, the first time this river gets on the rise, I said, it's gonna take all that deal there and your tin horns and everything else down the creek. He said, no, I said, I've got them tin horns, I said, I run a cable through them to the time to the big old live oak tree. If the cable don't break, the live oak tree will go with it.
Something's gonna give, you know.
pH, not pH code, but, I can say a little more things. These ranches everywhere around here for a while, and finally went this broke flat in the clam tree, and moved back to Braxton.
Not Clay Hunter, is it?
Huh?
Not Clay Hunter.
Yeah, Clay Hunt,
Clay
that's
Hunt?
it, yeah.
Is that they did that?
Yeah, old Clay, that's cool last, just the first ride. First ride.
Well, I didn't realize Clay Hunter ever had maple helmets.
Took his tin horn, broke his cable, and was all going. You couldn't even tell that they.
Thank you, Charlene. I didn't realize Clay Hunt ever had that.
Yeah, he had that old
I'd forgotten about it, I read.
Madison country, it was made by Allen's old country. He took all the words that he moved down the, right across from Turkey Bluff, which is down about a mile and a half down the river from there. And it's pretty shallow all the way it runs across there, and he got him a bunch of his landing mats, you know, that's in the news, surplus army landing mats. And he put them across down there, and he staked them down, he drilled holes down there and cemented the stakes in there, and he fastened those landing mats to that. I said, oh yeah, I said, that ain't gonna work either. I said, we're gonna get up and take all that. Oh, he said he couldn't do that. I wonder if it wasn't about a year after that, this river come down. Old Alfredo Sanchez said, you want all of it? Said, no hay ni señas on top of el puente.
There wasn't anything left.
No, the same left there. And they weren't, you couldn't even. John Allen tried to do that when he and Mabel were ranching that thing. He built a bridge, he was building a bridge up above there, and he got some railroad on there. And they drilled holes, see that too? Railroad rails in there. Took that too.
People just don't realize how strong that water is. I don't know what you could ever put across it.
Well, we put in a hydraulic ram down that Golden Falls. You know, put the ram down below the falls, and the ram is still there, I guess, in that little, of course it's not working. We took some 3/4 inch pipe and run from that ram up that bluff that way, and run it right flat on that rock, all the way up there, and took it up that bluff. And when we run it across that flat rock there, we drilled some holes down under the side of it, and took some pieces of rebar, stuck them down in there and cemented all that pipe. They put you know, not too far apart with it. Faster, go faster pipe. It's coming, stood down and took every bit of that pipe. All the pipe that was above it, don't think left there, that old ram down in that hole there. Covered it up with ground.
Took everything, yeah.
Or I said, you know, I didn't think that water would get that pipe down and close that rock. And I said, I didn't either. It sure did.
How far up Dry Devils River did your dad run cattle? Was our place the furthest north? Did he watered anything?
Well, you know, I don't know what he did with that piece of country that was up there around where your place is there now. Because when, first time that I knew the ranch, it was F.M. McBee and Son, was came up to where that old Newman well is down there in Georgia. The fence crossed right along in there somewhere. And run back up in there and joined Mr. Fox. You know where Jane Holler is?
Yes, sir.
Well, it went back up into Jane Holler there. And then cut across it. And Mr. Fox was their neighbor all the way across on the north side. Went around that way and went down Dry Devils River and quit Dry Devils way down there where George's place is and went across the hills and there and hit the river. It was about 70 sections in there. They come back out here, joined Uncle Bob, then went over yonder and going to, Wilbur Myers, which is Houston's old outfit, and then cut back down, well anyhow, he cut back across those hills there and hit Dry Devil River again, and run into the main Devil River again down there about, I guess about a mile and a half above Dry Devil River. There was one pasture down there that had 10 sections in it that was on the river. And all I ever remember seeing in there was a bunch of mares and colts. When I was a young man, I guess they finally put something else in, but they didn't have that comfort too long. They didn't last long. They had about 2 dry winters, and that put them out of cow business. Lost it all. It was a big outfit.
70 sections. But as far as you know, as far north as they ran stock was where our place is.
Yeah. Down below you. Back up about that old Newman well, I think that was the north end of the country.
Yeah.
And they run back, hit off the ball on the east side back there. But it took in Spotted Oak, and Camp Springs, and old Newman well.
You remember what year it was when they went out of business?
That was back in about 1922. I guess they had that company probably maybe 12 years now, 12, 13 years.
The 22 is when they,
Yeah, hold it up.
well, see that my grandparents moved down on Dry Devil River. Of course, my granddaddy lived up there above Bull Mountain, you know, first. And but they moved down on Dry Devil River in 1915 or so and built that house in 1916. So I was wondering, you know, how long they had that when they moved down there. How long it had been since your dad had cattle there.
I never did hear it, I don't know, Darryl, how, when they left that old dry ranch, when they moved on down to other place, 'cause they moved from there on down to what we call gravel water. That's down where Horace's old
As
house.
opposed to Horace's house. Well, I see, I didn't even realize that even lived up there. I knew they had that country because Daddy said that the McBees had built that tank, you know, that header tank up above the house. But I didn't realize that they'd ever lived there.
And I don't know what the procedure was to dispose of that country or how it come about, but anyhow.
Shout smoke.
Yeah.
Mr. Emery and Mr. Lynn, they got all that country down there. I don't know how much of that he owned when he was there. I remember the first time I ever went to the ranch, I was about 7 or 8 years old. And of course the road come in, like it does now, you have off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You come up through off the ball, the country going down, my old road, so it's